Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are enjoying these days lockdown as well as the video classes. So here I am again with the economics, talking about different economic sectors. As you already know that there are three sectors: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. In the last class we said about the chart that was showing that 30 years ago the primary sector was the most important sector. But after 30 years, that was by year 2003, the tertiary sector became most important. So it was able to produce more than what other two sectors together produce. So the importance of tertiary sector was increasing. It was able to provide more jobs. It was able to provide services in all spheres, all areas of human life and so on. So today we shall focus about the importance of tertiary sector. That is the rising importance. Why this importance is rising? Why this importance is increasing? That is what we are going to see today. So over the 30 years between 1973 and 2003, while production in all the three sectors has increased, it has increased the most in the tertiary sector. So last 30 years the production has increased in the tertiary sector. As a result, in the year 2003, the tertiary sector has emerged as the largest producing sector in India, replacing the primary sector. That we saw in the last class in the chart that the production that is coming from this tertiary sector is same as other two sectors together put together. So in this 30 year, so early it was only just 10,000 crore and here it became 50,000 crore. Within 30 years it has increased so much, 5 times more it has increased. So why is the tertiary sector becoming so important in India? So we may ask that question. Why is it important that the tertiary sector is increasing day by day in India? So the first reason is, in any country, several services such as hospitals, educational institutions, post and telegram services, police stations, courts, village administrative offices, municipal corporations, defense, transport, banks, insurance companies, etc. are required. So in every country we see, if that country is developed, then there will be more services, police services, defense services, banking services, administrative services, so many, all the areas services will be there. Then we can say that country has developed more. If there are less facilities, less people to do service, then we say that area is God forsaken area. There is no services available, there is no facilities available. That is what we will say. So every country is trying to provide maximum services in order to make the citizens enjoy their life, to make their life more comfortable. That is the purpose. So in a developing country, the government has to take the responsibility for the provision of these services. So in a country that is developing, it is not yet developed, it is only on the process of developing. So there it is the government who has to take in charge of initiating these services so that the development will be faster and we will reach the stage of developed countries. And secondly, the development of agriculture and industry leads to the development of services such as transport, trade, storage, the like, as we have already seen. So we said, in a country, if the agriculture is produced more, then certainly we need service to carry that on, transport. We need service of godown to store it up and so on. So, and also the production of industry has started or increased, then they also need more services for spreading it out for selling. They need more shopkeepers, they need more agents. So the more the first primary and secondary sectors improve, the more tertiary sector will improve, because they need more people to help them, they need more people to give service for them. So that's why tertiary sector is always growing ahead comparing to other sectors. That is the third one is an incomplete levels rise. Certain sections of people start demanding many more services like eating out, tourism, shopping, private hospitals, private schools, professional training, etc. So, as the income of the people are increasing, they will demand more things, they want more things, they want to enjoy more. They will say, let us come on, let us go out and have picnic, let us go to the hotel, let us go for tour. So the more income people have got, their demands also will be more. Suppose a poor family struggling to survive, they don't have enough food to eat, they don't have enough clothes to wear, then they will never think about going out for picnic or tour and so on. Their main purpose will be, we should have sufficient food, we should have good dress to wear, all this. But if they become rich, then they will think, oh, we should buy one TV, we should buy one fridge, we should make our house a little more bigger. So they will start thinking about more and more. So when they think about more and more, then they need more service. In order to make their house bigger, they need the help of the mistries, they need the help of shopkeepers for selling them TV, for selling the fridge and so on. So people and demands will increase as the income is increasing. You can see this change quite sharply in cities, especially in big cities. So these things mainly happen, or mainly we can observe in big cities and towns. It is there usually people become richer, or they are able to earn more money. Therefore, they will have better plans, better ideas and so on. Then fourthly, over the past decade or so, certain new services such as those based on information and communication technology have become important and essential. The production of these services has been rising rapidly. So this has been rising rapidly. And in chapter 4, we shall see examples of these new services and the reasons for their expansion. So we will study about them in the coming chapters. And however, you must remember that not all of the service sector is growing equally well. So we said when the primary sector and the secondary sector are growing well, the tertiary sector will be growing much faster than them. But don't think that all the sections in the tertiary sector will be growing. Certain services there will be higher demand and that will be growing faster, and some certain demands or certain services will have less demand and they will be growing slowly and so on. So service sector in India employs many different kinds of people. At one end, there are a limited number of services that employ highly skilled and educated workers. So there are so many highly skilled and employees are there. At the other end, there are a very large number of workers engaged in services such as small shopkeepers, repair persons, transport persons, etc. And these people barely manage to earn a living, and yet they perform their services because no alternative opportunities for work are available to them. Hence, only a part of this sector is growing in importance. You shall read more about this in the next section. So, we said in the service sector or in the tertiary sector, there is so many people working. You can see people who are engineers or people who are doctors. Doctors like specialized in heart surgery or other important surgeries. they earn lakhs and lakhs of rupees per month. Their salary may be high, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs or 1 crore, and so they may get 1 month. Depends on their skill. A person who is very expert in doing operation, they may be paid very high. But a person who is offering service, maybe making pan and selling on the roadside, you can see, or a person who is repairing shoes on the roadside, how much will they get in a month? They may hardly get 1,000 or 2,000 if everything goes on well. Sometimes maybe much less also. So all the people who are working in the service sector, they are not paid equally, or they are not getting equal amount of money. So it all depends on their skill and qualification. A doctor who has got very high skill and very good qualification, he will be getting very high. But people who are repairing shoes or people who are selling things on the shop, they have no qualification at all. They are just sitting there because they don't have anything else to do. So they will be paid very less, or the profit that they get will be very less. That is why we say all the service providers, all the members who are working in this tertiary sector, they are not equally paid. Some of them are getting high pay and some are getting low pay. Let's see now, where are most of the people employed? So we said the tertiary sector is very important. Now let us see, most of these people, where are they employed? So graph 2 presents percentage share of the three sectors in GDP. Now you can directly see the changing importance of the sectors over the 30 years. So again, there is another chart is there. We can see how the people are working. So which sector provides more employment? We can see here. The top one. In 1973, agriculture sector or the primary sector was providing 75% of the job. So 75% of the people were working in the primary sector or in the agricultural field, and in the secondary sector just 10% of people were working, and for tertiary sector just 15% of the people were working. That was the situation in 1973. But after 27 years, that is in 2000, you see the situation, it has changed a little bit. So the primary sector has come down from, before it was 75%, now it is only 60%. So 15% has been reduced. So many people started working in other sectors. And the secondary sector has improved. Before it was just 10%, now it has become how much? Almost 17%. It has become almost 17%. From 10 it increased to 17. Then see the tertiary sector. Before it was just 15%. Now it has become 22 or 23%. So that also has increased. So more people have stopped working in primary sector and they have started working in secondary sector and tertiary sector. So more people are shifting to secondary and tertiary. That is a situation that we see. So a remarkable fact about India is that while there have been a change in the share of the three sectors in GDP, a similar shift has not been taken place in employment. Graph 3 shows a share of the employment in three sectors 1973 and 2000, and the primary sector continues to be the largest employer even in the world. So that is what we saw. And now see the map above, the diagram above, that is showing about GDP, that is the total production coming from each sectors. So the green, in 1973 the primary sector was the highest producer. So it was able to produce 45% of the GDP, of the total production of the country. Agriculture sector alone or primary sector alone was able to produce 45%. Then secondary sector was able to produce only 20 percentage. Secondary sector produce 20 percentage of the GDP. Then the rest was produced by tertiary sector. How much it will come? Almost 35 percentage. So 35 percentage was coming from tertiary sector. Then after 30 years, see the situation. The primary sector has come down drastically. It was able to provide 45 percentage 30 years ago. Now it is able to provide only just 25 percentage. So it has come down so much. It is able to provide only just 25 percentage. And the secondary sector also has increased. Before it was hardly 20. Now it is little more than 20. It is little better, not much. And see, the difference has taken place in tertiary sector. Before it was just 32 percentage. Now it has become almost 52 percentage. So there is a great improvement in the tertiary sector. So they are producing more, or they are earning more income than all the other sectors. And now we compare that one again. So here they are earning more income in the tertiary sector. But see, how many people are working here? Very few people are working in the tertiary sector. So these few people are able to earn this much of income, able to get this much of GDP. But while here, more than half of the population, that is 60% of the population are working in the primary sector, but the production is very low. The GDP production is very low. What they are producing is very little. It is just hardly 25 percentage. So 60% of the people are working in this primary sector, and the production that they are bringing to the country, the income that they are bringing to the country is only just 25 percentage. You understood the difference? Here tertiary sector, few people are working, but they are bringing more income. In the primary sector, there more people are working, but they are bringing less income. So that is the problem in our country. So if this many people working in our country, if they are also able to produce more, then our GDP will increase, the total production of the country will increase, and the growth rate will be higher. So that is what we need. So we need special qualified people, or trained people, or skilled people. Then only the production in the country can improve. Then why didn't a similar shift out of primary sector happen in case of employment? So we ask, why in the primary sector that shift in the employment is not taking place? So more people are continuing to work in the primary sector, but the production is less. It is because not enough jobs were created in the secondary and tertiary sector. So even though industrial output or the production of goods went up the 8 times during that period, employment in the industry went up by only 2.5% times. The time applies to tertiary sector as well. While production in the service sector rose by 11 times, employment in the service sector rose less than 3 times. So what we saw in the chart, we are just telling that the employment did not increase. More people continue to work in the agriculture sector because they have no other way to go. Because in the tertiary sector there was not enough job opportunities. So they have nothing else to do, they continue to work in the field. But the production is less because there is no much work to do. Since they have nothing else to do, they are just going and helping them. Maybe there is in a family 5 members are there. They have a small field, only 2 people enough to do work there actually. If they work, 2 people work, they can easily produce. But other 3 members are simply sitting at home, so they are also coming and working in the field. So instead of 2 people working in the field, 5 people, all the 5 members of the family are working there. So the production is same. Whether 2 people work or 5 people work, the production is same. That's why the GDP growth is not increasing from the primary sector. Though more people are working, the GDP production is less. So as a result, more than half of the workers in the country are working in the primary sector. So 60%, more than half of the people are working in the primary sector, mainly in agriculture, producing only a quarter of the GDP. So more than half of the people, that is 60% of the people, are working in the primary sector, but the GDP that they are producing is only just 25%. So imagine, so much of work is wasted here. So that's why our country is not economically developing. In contrast to this, the secondary and the tertiary sector produce 3/4 of the produce, whereas they employ less than half of the people. And does this mean that the workers in agriculture are not producing as much as they could? So 60% of the people are working in the agriculture field or in the primary sector, and the GDP they are producing is only 25%. Then the other 40% of the people are working together in secondary sector and tertiary sector, and they are producing 75% of the GDP. So less people are working in second and third sector, that is secondary and tertiary sector, and they are producing 75% of the total income of the country, while 60% of the people are working in the primary sector, in the agriculture sector, and they are producing only 25% of GDP. So we can see the difference, which area produces more to the growth of the country. So what it means is that there are more people in agriculture than is necessary. So even if you move a few people out, production will not be affected. Production will not be affected. In other words, workers in agriculture sector are underemployed. So I said for the example of 5 members of a family. So to work in their field, 2 people are enough. But 3 other people are sitting at home simply, so they are also coming and helping, coming and working there. So whether 2 people work or 3 people work or 5 people work, the production is same. The amount of paddy they produce is same. The amount of vegetable they produce is same. There is no improvement. There is no increase. So we can say more people are working in the agriculture field or primary sector because they have no other work to do. And therefore we can say the people in primary sector, they are underemployed. More than what is needed, they are employed there. So that system or that fact is called underemployment. So because of underemployment, we think that all the people are employed there, but it is not required. They are working there because they have nothing else to do. And for example, take the case of a small farmer Lakshmi, owning about 2 hectares of unirrigated land, dependent only on rain, and growing crops like jowar and arar. So we take the example of a lady, Lakshmi, a poor farmer. She has got 2 hectares of land which has no irrigation facility at all, and she continues to cultivate there like jowar and bahar and so on. And all 5 members of her family work in the plot throughout the year. Why? They have nowhere else to go for work. You will see that everyone is working, none remains idle. But the actual fact that their labor effort gets divided. Each one is doing some work, but no one is fully employed. This is a situation of underemployment, where people are apparently working, but all of them are made to work less than their potential. This kind of underemployment is hidden to contrast to someone who does not have a job and is clearly visible as unemployed. Hence it is also called disguised unemployment. So in the case of this women, what is happening? We can say they have 5 members and all of them are working. Actually all of them are not required, few of them enough. Let us say for example 3 people are enough to do work in that field. With the 3 people easily they can manage cultivation. So what the 2 other people, what will they do? They have nothing else to do. When these three people are working, how can these two remain at home idle? They feel shy. They say others are working hard. How can we take rest simply? So they also will go and work. So five people are working. Actually, three people can work and finish up the work and produce the fruits harvest. But these two people are working extra. So because of these two people working extra, are there any extra production? No, there are no extra production. The production remains same. So these two people we can say they are underemployed, or we can say they are in disguised employment. When others look, they are employed. They are working in the field. They are working in the agriculture field. But actually they are not employed. They are not required. They are working below their potential. What three people are supposed to do, five people are doing. So two people are under disguised employment, or they are under employment. So if there is any other work, then these two people can go for that. Then still the production will be same. These three people can work normally and the production will be same. So these two people, they are underemployed. They are simply wasting their energy and time there. They are not helping the production to increase production. That's why 60% of the population is working in the primary sector and the production is very low. So if this 60%, out of 60%, 30% is removed, also the production will be same. So what the 30% of the people can do is done by 60% of the people, because they have no other employment, because they have no other work. Therefore they also come and work there. The production remains same, but more people are employed there and there is no extra benefit. That is the situation in our country. Now, supposing a landlord, Sukram, comes and hires one or two members of the family to work on his land, Lakshmi's family is now able to earn some extra income through wages. Since you do not need five people to look after that small plot, two people moving out does not affect production on their farm. In the above example, two people may move to work in a factory. Once again, in earnings, the family would increase and they would also continue to produce as much from their field. So as I said, the three people's work only, but it is done by five people. Suppose a landlord is coming and telling, can two of you come and work in my field and I will pay you wage? They can go, they will be readily willing to go and they will get extra money. If they go and work in others field, they will get extra money. So the income of the family will increase. So three people can work in the field and these two people can get extra money and the income of Lakshmi will go up. So that is how the production can increase. Suppose they are going and working in others field, then what are they doing? They are doing service. They are working as a laborer. Though they are working in the field, they are working in somebody else's field and therefore they are offering service. So that way more people need to be moved out from primary sector to secondary sector and tertiary sector so that the production in the country can improve. This underemployment can also happen to other sectors. For example, there are thousands of casual workers in the service sector in urban areas who search for daily employment. They are employed as painters, plumbers, repair persons and others doing odd jobs. Many of them don't find work every day. Similarly, we see other people of the service sector on the street pushing a cart or selling something where they may spend the whole day but earn very little. They are doing this work because they do not have better opportunities. So this same problem that more people are working in the primary sector and earning very little, the same thing also is happening in other sectors like secondary sector or more than secondary sector in tertiary sector. There are many other people who are doing service. For example, we can see a cobbler repairing shoes. He sits on the street side morning till evening. He is not working from morning till evening. He is sitting there. He is available. But unless some people come for asking to get his service, he is not offering any service. He is wasting. Suppose only one person comes to him to repair shoes. He may get 10 rupees, or he may get 20 rupees, or he may get 50 rupees. That is what he is earning. So whole day he is sitting there, he is available, but he is getting very little income. So the service he is providing is very little. Suppose he can get some other service. If he can get a job in the shop, then morning till evening he can work there making shoes, and he will be paid much more better. Or persons who are running around or carrying around vegetables or other things for selling, they are spending the whole day by pushing the cart and selling things, but always people are not buying. Maybe from one family or two families or five families, people may come for buying, but the rest of the time he is simply spending his time. So if he can sit in a shop and sell things, then he will be paid from morning till evening. He has to work and he will be paid higher. So just like the agricultural field or primary sector, in the tertiary sector also we find many people who are underemployed. They are working but they are not getting their full payment. That is a situation that is happening in our country. So we need to improve. We need to improve more facilities in this tertiary sector, in the organized sector, so that people can work with to the maximum of their potentiality and continue to improve the production, the GDP production, and benefit all the citizens of our country, so that there will be better production, better growth, and a better economic situation for all the people. So every person has got that responsibility to work hard and improve the GDP, or produce more and improve the GDP of our country, and that will be for the benefit of everyone. So we shall wind it up today, and I hope you understood about the different works that people are doing, and especially more people are working in the agriculture sector or primary sector, but the production is very less. So if from there some more people can move out to tertiary sector or secondary sector and work hard, then they will be able to get better employment, they will be able to get better wages. But to move to secondary or tertiary sector, they need to be skilled, they need to be qualified. So just remaining as a farm worker, they are not going to get it. So they should get qualified, they should get more skilled, then certainly they'll be able to work for the development of the country, for the economic development of the country. So thank you for listening, and we shall wind it up today, and we will meet you again in the next day. So thank you for listening. Bye.